The Falcons took Michael Penix with the 8th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the NFL draft reminds us, no matter how many mock drafts you do, no matter how many experts you listen to, something fucked up's going to happen.
Yeah, something
This
crazy.
was a fucked up thing because they just spent all this money on Kirk Cousins. It feels like a team that's pretty close to really competing in the NFC with a couple moves, and now they spent the 8th pick on a backup quarterback. I don't get it.
It's a drama factory. Like you have a guy in there, a league veteran, a proven quarterback, not an elite quarterback, but a proven quarterback. And you think you're tooling up to make a go at it. And then you bring in youth. And like we're all sitting here, we're watching the draft. And no sooner is that pick made, than you start to hear rumblings that he's actually, I think the word is stunned. That they went for Michael Penix.
Disappointed, I think was the other word.
And so this is the thing. You wonder with a pick like this, number one, with a player like Michael Penix, who has all the talent in the world, had a really strong combine and pro day, if they just fell in love with him so much for whatever reason that they had to draft him, no matter how it would shake their organization up, and despite, obviously, the huge medical concerns that he has.
You love Michael Penix.
Love him.
So make the case that this was actually a great move to do this. Because by the time he actually starts for them after Cousins is out, which will be a couple years from now, Michael Penix will be 34 years old.
Well, he is older. He's yet another one of these transfer guys. And look, he's had significant medical issues. 2 torn ACLs, same knee. A shoulder surgery. All you guys have seen it all. They ran it down on the draft. But look, if there was a world where you could say Michael Penix is going to be healthy and he's not going to have any injury problems, and obviously that's a huge conjecture given his past, he can just fucking ball. He can throw the ball down the field beautifully. He puts the ball in pockets and in windows with amazing touch and accuracy. He's like a Drew Brees type of quarterback while he was at Washington in college. It's almost like he's handing the ball off down there. Anticipatory throws the whole 9. And then plus all of that, his knees seem to be holding up. His legs seem to be holding up. His body seems to be holding up well enough for him to go 4.5 at the combine, which I think shocked everybody.
But he doesn't really run as a quarterback, though. So what do I care if he runs 4.6 if you're not actually running?
If he's not running, but the fact that he can still move, and the fact that his body is functional and working, I think that explosion and that type of speed was surprising to a lot of people who had heard that he was essentially held together by thumbtacks and chewing gum throughout his college season,
Well, he tore the same ACL on his right knee twice. So that means the second one was a cadaver ACL. Maybe bad cadaver.
Or maybe it's like Rookie of the Year. Remember when Rookie of the Year, when he got hurt, and then all of a sudden that made him throw harder than anybody right there?
It just got stronger and better?
Got stronger. It's like they put the Rookie of the Year ligament in there, and now he's like the man. But look, here's the thing. If their plan is to not play him for a while, make sure that his body can take the load of an NFL season, give him a look-see for a couple of years, and then turn it over to him, it's a very smart draft pick. The reality is that it's one of the riskier draft picks that I can remember somebody making right now. Like with a new QB coming in and with the team as close to contending as you said.
And one of the funnier draft picks.
Nobody thought it was going to happen.
I love when there's and I said we were watching with a couple of people and they showed him like 3-4 minutes before the pick. And I immediately got suspicious because I thought the Falcons were going to trade out of that. They were such a logical trade candidate for somebody to come up and get J.J. McCarthy. And instead they were staying put. And then they're just showing him in his living room with his family. And you want to talk about the families later. You have some thoughts.
I have some
You have some theories.
It's a tough night.
Tough night. But it was like, and I was like, I think they're going to take Penix.
Yeah.
But I said it the same way you would say, like if you're at a bar and one of your buddies was talking all night to somebody, or like that lady's 25 years older than him. I think he's going to go home with her.
I think they're leaving together.
I think she just paid the check.
Right.
And then that was it. They took it. You hate the Falcons. We should mention this.
Yeah, with the seething white hot passion.
So this must have delighted you. They wasted all their cap on Kirk Cousins, and then they spent the 8th pick on a backup quarterback.
So here's the thing. This is why the draft is sometimes tough for huge college football fans.
Yeah.
It's tough because you get connected to the players and their stories over 3 or 4, or in the case of Bo Nix, 12 seasons that they've been playing. Then all of a sudden, they get drafted to your mortal enemy, like the Falcons. I want to see Michael Penix do well because it's just such a fantastic story.
You were even defending his performance in the playoff game, which was not good.
So look, he played in Michigan, what I believe to be a top 3, if not the best defense in college football. And they had him schemed up. They played him really well. It was a hard-hitting, very physical defense. He diced Texas up, bad secondary, but he diced Texas up.
Okay.
And all throughout the year, except for a couple of games where he just kind of led them to victories and didn't really dominate, Michael Penix was the offense for Washington. Obviously, he had some great guys on the outside, but he was the engine of the whole team. He played fantastic football. So, like, he made me a believer.
What's his 5th year in college?
He was a long time. Like, a lot of guys. Like, all of these guys are old. They're 4th, 5th teams, 6 years, 25-year-old rookies, the whole 9. That's the way of the world now, Bill.
Can you walk us through a couple years here in the city of Atlanta where you have Kirk Cousins as the incumbent and Michael Penix as the backup, how that might play out?
So I want to walk you through it, but I can't do better than a meme that I saw.
Okay, what's that?
There's a little movie called Any Given Sunday.
Mm.
And this is where Dennis Quaid played Cap, the old veteran QB who had led the team to glory in the past.
You know, this was the first rewatchable we ever did after Heat.
True.
Any Given Sunday, yeah.
Any Given Sunday was the one? Any Given Sunday, some shocking locker room scenes there.
Some shocking drug use?
Shocking drug use.
Some shocking all kinds of things. So you're going to say that Cousins is Cap
and Penix is Willie Beeman. And that I mean, we're not there yet because we haven't seen Penix outperform and like take his job, but that type of locker room animus, especially if Cousins is already there. Now look, Kirk Cousins has his decision to make. He can either try to nuke this kid in an Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love type of way.
He's too nice of a guy. I don't see him doing that.
I don't see him doing that. However, the choice to, I guess, talk about or discuss or leak to the media your displeasure at the pick is an interesting one. If you wanted to go with the flow and not rock the boat too much, you would think that you would stay away from any public criticism of the pick itself. Not saying that he came out and went on a record, but obviously if it got out how he felt about it, he knows that it got out. So,
but you can't win with any scenario if you're Kirk Cousins. Because if you're like, no, I think it's a great pick, but I can't wait to work with Michael, people are like, you're full of shit.
Yeah, I mean, but
who are you kidding?
But to me, it's just, sometimes you tell the lies that you have to tell. Hey, I can't wait to show this kid how to be a great pro. I can't wait to get in there and make sure Michael Penix we know that he doesn't mean it, but letting people know now that he's not feeling okay with it makes it a story going into mini camps and going into OTAs and going into training camp in the summer.
So the city of Atlanta, you gave me on the one hand a Dennis Quaid character, and then you gave me a Jamie Foxx character.
Sure.
Where do you think the city is going to lean?
Look, let me tell you something.
I wonder how it's going to play out.
Let me tell you something real quick. Atlanta loves a winner.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be a problem for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a good QB, but
he's a 9-7, 9-8 guy.
He is a 10-7 Ranger, right? He is the cream of the crap, the best of the worst. Now, I'm not hating on him because he's had a great career, but I don't think anybody is looking to Kirk Cousins to take you to the promised land. Now, if he goes in there and he has problems figuring it out a little bit, there are going to be people that want to see the new kid. That's the thing. And not just because he is culturally, should I say, what Atlanta is looking for, just because he just came off of a fantastic college football career.
The Netflix series really helped Cousins. I've been saying that for a while. It made people forget that he's just basically a slightly over 500 quarterback who doesn't really do well in the playoffs. And the Minnesota thing was fine. Coming off and Achilles to boot. Maybe wonder if they think he's going to be 100% healthy. And maybe they wanted insurance. Maybe they were worried about something.
The question is Kirk Cousins a quarterback, I think everybody knows the answer now, that you think you can win with, or is he Gardner Minshew plus? Meaning a quarterback that's a stopgap that comes in.
Or is he Dak Prescott?
Well, I mean, Dak Prescott is different because...
A stopgap.
Well, Dak Prescott, they built the whole fucking thing around him. They think...
They're the same guy. I've been saying this for years.
You think Prescott and
yeah,
Kirk
they're the same guy. Same level of success, same stats.
Yeah,
it's just one guy plays in Dallas and the other guy was on Minnesota and a couple other teams.
I think the only difference with Dak Prescott is he really put the team in a real bind to where he fails just enough to ruin your franchise.
Yeah.
Like if you commit that type of money and make that type of commitment to obviously a guy, I'm not like rewriting or saying anything profound here, to a guy like Dak Prescott, you almost have to win. And he just hasn't demonstrated that at all. Kirk Cousins was different. It's one of the more unique careers ever. A bunch of different franchise tags. There wasn't a real commitment to him.
Kept betting on himself, making a shitload of money.
Kept betting on himself, making this shit, but he never asked the team to commit long term. So there was still some type of flexibility that other teams didn't have.
Yeah.
So it was odd in that way. But you never thought that you could put a team around him that was going to win a championship. And I don't think anything's changed now, you know?
So to sum up the Falcons offseason, they decided not to hire Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
They kept their whole inner circle in place that had done all the other stuff. Right. They tampered with Kirk Cousins and are probably going to get penalized with some sort of something at some point down the road when they get more info. And then after tampering with Kirk Cousins and paying for him, even though they don't know if he's going to be healthy for the start of the season, then they spend the 8th pick on Michael Penix.
They drafted his successor.
The only thing I actually think Raheem Morris, I actually like that coaching hire. It would have been way more fun if they had hired like the guy Carolina hired, like Dave Canales. Like, oh man, you didn't hire Bell. But I actually do think Raheem Morris could be a good coach. But at the same time, they passed on Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time.